Well, good evening, and happy Tuesday. I trust that all is well with you and yours. Welcome to another edition of the Leadership Edge podcast. I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder. Thank you so much for tuning in. This podcast, The Leadership Edge, is designed to talk leadership, all things leadership. We cover every aspect of it. We want to give you the tools, the resources, the nuggets, the insight to make you a better leader, a more effective leader, to improve your leadership portfolio and repertoire so that you become the leader you were destined to be, you were called to be, you were created to be, and you were designed to be. Okay, so thank you very much. I trust that you had a great Christmas. Here we are, a few days. Christmas is in our rear view now, and guess what's right ahead of us, looking out the front window, is New Year's. Okay, we're here a couple of days actually before New Year's. Tomorrow is actually New Year's Eve, and Thursday is New Year's Day. And so it's just a great time of year because we lead right from Christmas heading straight to New Year's. And so I trust, number one, that you had a great Christmas and that all was well and you're happy with everything that went on. And, you know, the mere fact that you're still here, that's enough to give God thanks for and to be grateful for. And so now we're looking at a new year. He's allowing us to see another year. Thank God for that. There's so many that started out in 25 will not make it to 26, but God graced you. He graced us, and we ought to be grateful for that. And so before that, I want to just say Happy New Year, and I trust that 2026 will be everything you anticipate, you expect, that you want it to be, that you need it to be, and that it will be the very best year of your life. That's my prayer. That's my desire for every listener of the Leadership Edge podcast, okay? All right. Now, before we get into our teaching, again, don't forget to like and share, follow on Facebook. Amen. Sharing is important because, you know, we all have reaches that are individualized to us. There are places my influence goes that the next man's don't go. But if we all share, guess what? We can cover a large ground. That's what makes BGT shows grow and reach the unreached masses, amen, across the country and around the world, is we all share. So please hit that share button, hit that like button, and hit that follow button, okay? BGTV Studios has a YouTube channel also, BGTV Studios YouTube. Go there and subscribe to that YouTube channel. There you'll have access to all the archives of the other great podcasters, along with myself, that you can zoom in and just binge out and just listen to all kind of podcasts, and it will be a blessing to you. Okay, so go ahead and do that. All right, thank you so very much. All right, let's talk leadership. Here we are, the Leadership Edge, and this is lesson number 14. Okay. In 13 last week, we began to talk, the leadership challenge, the challenge of leadership, number 14. We began to talk about developing a plan, a personal development plan, a plan that would make you better so that this time next year you look a lot different than you look today, and you're better. And so that's great. Okay. The last thing we talked about was improving educationally. Okay, that means that you got to keep that brain functioning. You got to stay on alert. You got to be a lifelong learner. Never stop growing. Never stop learning. Leadership. The thing about leadership is that there is no destination you get to, and if I were going, think about this. If I were going to the North Pole, okay, let's change it out. If I were going to the moon. If I can get into a space capsule or whatever kind of ship and go to the moon, that's a destination. I will fly 210,000 miles, 9,000 miles, something like that, whatever the distance is. And guess what? I will land on the moon. Okay? That's it. All I want to do is go to the moon. Once I get to the moon, I've reached the apex. There is nothing else to do for me. Bam. That's what some people do. They arrive at the moon and they stop. They get to a certain point and they just stop. Now, they don't realize there's a whole nother horizon out in the universe that they never even tap into because their destination and their vision only allowed them to see the moon. And so when they got there was nothing else to challenge them, nothing else to push them, nothing else to drive them. So they began to plateau. And then they begin to decrease. Why? Because they stop. So what learning is, once you stop learning, once you stop reading, once you stop it, once you stop growing, you're lost as a leader. You get kicked onto the pile of leadership junk. Okay? However, I don't want to just go to the moon. I want to discover the universe. I want to go to the far ends of the universe. And so I get in a space capsule and I start going up. Guess what? I will keep going and going and going for hundreds and billions of years. And guess what? I will never reach an end. Why? Because our universe has no end. I'll just keep going and going and going. That's how leadership is, people. It's like the universe. There is no end to the learning. You don't get to a certain point and say, hey, I've reached the apex of leadership. I'm at the moon of leadership. There is nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. No. Leadership is like going to the end of the universe. You keep going. The more you keep learning, the more you realize you don't know, the more you want to learn. And the further you keep going, you keep learning and learning and learning, and you never get to an end. Your life will end, but leadership doesn't end. And that's how life should be, that we are going and learning and growing up until the very end of our lives. Now, what's the key to learning? Is to stay in it, to read widely. All leaders, let me drop some on you. If you don't read, you're probably not going to lead. Why? Because here's what I believe, and I've learned this, I've heard this from other experts. They say all leaders are readers. Okay? All readers aren't leaders, but all leaders are readers. Everyone who reads is not necessarily a leader, but every leader is a reader. So if you're a leader and you're not reading, I wonder what you're doing. Leaders are readers, okay? Remember, that learning is all about becoming everything that you need to become. Yes. All right. Now, someone once said it like this here, that the learners will inherit the earth. Learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with the world that no longer exists. Okay? See, the world is changing. Things are changing. That's why you got to keep learning, because things are changing. So the learned will inherit the earth, but the learners, rather, that's the ones who keep learning. But those who learn and stop, they will find themselves equipped for a world that don't exist no more. That world is gone. And that's how it is. You know, a couple of years ago, I had an iPhone. I think I had an iPhone 8. And when I bought the iPhone 8, it served me well, you know. And I just refused. I was stubborn. I said, I'm not going to keep up with technology. Every time Apple come out with a new iPhone, I'm not going to upgrade. I'm not going to try to keep up with technology. You go broke trying to keep up with technology. So I held on to my 8 and held on to my 8. And I liked it. Now, they were coming out with an iPhone with all kinds of new features on it. But I was like to learn. I got it. I don't need that. I'm good where I'm at. Well, you know what Apple did? They sent me an email and said, hey, pretty soon, after a certain date, we will no longer be supporting the 8. In other words, we're shutting it down. If you have a problem with your phone, you can't bring it to us because we won't fix it. We won't service it no more. We won't even have the parts. So they forced my hand to go up to another level. So I had to go from an 8 to a 14. You know, they're going to pretty soon have from the 14, I got to go up to 18 or 20. That's what they're going to do. But here's the point. If I could have kept the 8 and had a phone that wasn't serviceable, and the moment I got it broken, what would have happened? I tried to go to Apple, and I couldn't. They said, hey, you in a world don't exist no more. The world of the 8 don't exist no more. That's how some folk are with leadership. They're holding on to their old and the way things used to be, and they won't open their minds to have new perspective and to innovate and to be creative and to make adjustments and to make mid-course adjustments. And so you're in a world that no longer is supported by the rules of leadership. You're in a world that no longer exists. You are a dinosaur. When you're listening. So keep learning. Keep learning. Remember this and remember it good. It's the destination. It's not the destination. It's the journey. It's all the things that happen along the way. See, those are the things you appreciate. Thank God I made the destination. But wow, nothing like the journey that got me here. I look at the church I pastor and the people that I lead. And I look at where we've come to and from the past 25, 30 years. We've come a long ways. And sometimes I sit down and think about them, the people that I lead. And I think about the journeys we've had. The times we've had to have each other's backs. And as we have achieved certain goals and certain statuses, it's great. And we thank God for that. But man, it's what we learn in the journey. It's the relationship we develop. It's the bond that we got. Because I put it all on the line for you. You put it all on the line for me. See, leadership is about the journey. It's not the destination, it's a journey. Are you listening to me? And when you got the journey right, because here's the deal. How many of us have come along this journey and have not made mistakes? Or we've made mistakes. We're going to make more mistakes. But the one good thing about the mistakes is that they weren't fatal, that they weren't viewed as fatal. So you have to stop viewing mistakes as fatal, because they're not. If you stay in place, keep your head on straight, you can rebound and overcome the mistakes. And then the mistake become a teachable moment. You learn from it. So you have to ask the question. At the end of the day, there are 3 questions I ask myself. What did I learn today? When I hit a situation, what did I learn out of this situation? How did I grow today? Second question. How do I grow from this situation? How do I grow? The third question is, what will I do differently? From this point on, what I'm going to do differently? And if I face the same thing at another point in life, What am I going to do differently then? Those are 3 questions you got to ask yourself. What I learned today? How did I grow today? What I'm going to do differently? You can even ask yourself that question now as we get ready to go into the new year. What did I learn this year? What was the biggest lesson I learned this year? What was the most important thing I learned that helped me and aided me this year? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the people I lead? What did I learn about my circle, people in my circle? What did I learn? How did I grow this year? What areas, what points can I track growth? What can I point and say, hey, this I grew right here. How did I grow? And looking back over the year, as I come into the new year, looking back over 25, what am I going to do differently this year that I didn't do last year? What am I going to do differently in the areas that we just talked about, growing and learning? What am I going to do differently? If I face the exact same challenge, what will I do different? That's always an important question. Because if I face the exact same thing, will I handle it the exact same? Will I do the exact same thing? Chances are, if you do the exact same thing, guess what? You're going to get the exact same results. So if the results weren't the results you desired, if the results weren't the results you needed, then you got to do something differently. Because if you do the same thing, guess what? You're going to get the same results. You can't do the same thing and expect different results. Somebody called that insanity. Yes, insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. Tell you what it's like. You're watching this podcast. I'm in the studio here, BGTV Studios, where we do our podcast from. We're right here in Trustville. I am right off of Interstate 59. Okay? I'm about 5 minutes from the interstate, probably about a mile and a half, maybe the most. When I get to 59, if I go south, that will take me back into Birmingham. 2 miles out the interstate, I'll hit Interstate 459 that runs a circle around the outer edge of Birmingham on the eastern side. Follow 459, I hit 20, that would take me to Atlanta. Keep on following it down, I hit 65, which will take me to Montgomery and Mobile. Stay on around, I'll eventually hit 59 again, which is on. They'll take me on to Tuscaloosa and to Mississippi. Okay? So if I go south, I got all those options. I can keep straight through downtown Birmingham and just go straight to Tuscaloosa. If I want to go to another city, Atlanta or something, I would take 459 and run that route. If I take 59 to the north, it would take me to Gaston and ultimately to Chattanooga. Let's decide. Let's say I want to go to Atlanta. I leave out the BGTV Studios. I ride out to the street. I hit the main street up here. I get to the interstate. And instead of taking 59 south to take 459 and hit I-20, I take 59 north. And I drive for 2 hours. And guess what? Instead of Atlanta, I'm in Chattanooga. And I said, man, what went wrong? Let me go back and start over again. Come to the BGTV Studios the next day. I want to go to Atlanta. I go back out to the interstate. I hit 59 north one more time. Now you sitting there thinking, dummy, didn't it just happen? Yes, you are right. But you would think something is psychologically wrong with me if every day I came out here and took 59 north thinking it's going to take me to Atlanta. I'm doing the same thing, expecting different results. The results are not going to be different because 59 cannot take me to Atlanta. So no matter how sincere I am, how much I pray, fast, and cry, and whatever, it's not going to do it. I got to take a different route. I got to get a new perspective on directions. And that's what we have to do sometime in life. We keep doing the same things over and over in the same way. And for some reason, we expect to get a different result. You cannot do the exact same thing and get a different result. To get a different result, you got to do something different. You got to shake it up a little bit. You got to stir the pot. Something has got to be done differently. Something has got to be done differently. Just remember also, none of us have reached the apex. We are all a work in progress. And guess what, y'all? There is nothing wrong with being a work in progress. You know, we often say that thing, God ain't finished with me yet. No, he's not. Leadership ain't finished with you. I'm still a work in progress. And guess what? While I'm in progress, I got to receive correction along the way. Receiving correction is all part of the process. Some people don't like correction. They can't handle correction. Then you won't grow. You won't reach the pinnacle. Because as being a work in progress, correction is par for the course. Don't reject correction. You'll never grow if you shut your door, shut your mind, shut your heart to receiving correction. And sometimes you just got to take it and you can't even respond. You can't say nothing back. You just take it, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And just move on. Because sometimes when you go back, when you lash back, it comes off as a little rebellious. And you don't want to be a rebel. Okay? Hey, listen, time is up. I enjoyed this. We'll pick up with the Leadership Challenge a little further in our next podcast. Now, listen. As you go into this new year, as you make your resolutions, as you find things that help you to grow and be better, I want you to visit my website, www.pronaldwilder.com. There you'll find some resources that will help you as a leader. Number one, you'll see my book, The ABCs of Leadership. That'll be probably on the opening page, home page when you jump on it. You can purchase that book there, The ABCs of Leadership. It will bless you. It will help you. It will give you great leadership perspective. While on that website, if you were to visit my shop page, that's the page where my products are, you'll find over 30-something leadership lessons, what I have taught in seminars in various places. Great leadership, great messages, the Maximus Principle, 10 Commandments of Leadership, 7 series, observations on leadership, 10 keys to making decisions. These are just some great things. You see my website and my book on the page there to the left on your screen. Now stop by there and pick up some of those leadership products. The best buy is the bundle package. I'm holding in my hands a jump drive with every one of the leadership lessons on that website on this drive. You can get it and you'll come in about a third of the price. this is the best buy. You need to take this into 26 with you, okay? Do that for me. All right, God bless you. Listen, don't forget, BGTV Studios, this is good ground. This is God ordained, but it needs your support. It needs people like you who benefit from it, who enjoy the podcasters. Be a supporter. I want to ask all of you to follow P. Ronald Wilder and the Leadership Edge. Be a supporter. The 3 ways to give are on the screen there. There's a website, there's Venmo, and there's a Cash App. You can scan those and give on either platform. We're highly encrypted. Your information will not be compromised. Pray about being a partner with BGTV Studios or give a good one-time gift. 100% of what you give goes to BGTV Studios. We, the podcasters, don't get anything from it. As a matter of fact, we all give toward it because we believe in BGTV Studios. So thank you right now for making that commitment to be a supporter in 2026. Listen, my time is up. Got to go. This is your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder, reminding you that leadership matters and leaders lead. God bless you. I'll see you next Tuesday, and have a happy new year.